Kia ora everyone, my name's Tim, I'm from the CarbonCycle Company. Today we're assembling our home composter. What we've got in your kit set is rails, 4 rails and 4 posts. We also have 16 hex bolts, the hex guide and 2 hex tools, some hangers for your pest proofing and some lid caps. So I've arranged these in a particular way which will make installation much easier. You'll see all of the posts are facing to my right and all of the rails have this additional channel facing up and to my right. This will come in handy very soon. Next we're using our hex bolt guide tool and we're going to guide 2 bolts in per post. And I'm going to put another one here, second hole. You can see it resting there. And I'm going to repeat that with the other 3 posts, exactly the same operation. Next up, we're going to join those to our rails, 1 post to 1 rail, 4 times. The side with the channel, we're going to rest against the table here. We're looking at these 2 bolts entering these 2 spaces here. Now keep in mind that the channel has to be facing that way. Use the hex tools to hold the bolts in place and start attaching the hex bolts to the rails. Resting the hex tools into the bolts to keep them in place and then guiding the 2 bolts into the rail. Okay, next up we're going to add the last 2 bolts to each of the posts. The bolts that we're putting in now are at right angle to the last ones. You should be able to see the bolts resting through there. It's much easier with the guide tool than without. All 4 will look like this. The channel of the rail should be facing the same direction as these 2 bolts coming out. So the first one I'll rest on the ground, being careful not to let the bolts slide out. With the second one, I'm going to use the hex tools to hold those bolts roughly in place. And you can use one of the wood slats to help you here. I'm going to rest this down on top of the rail. If it's not going in easily, it may be just that you need to straighten up the 2 L's so that they're exactly at right angles to each other. We can rest this shape onto the 2 posts, pop the next one in place. We've now got 3 out of 4 of the L's together. We're going to connect the last L piece to make our frame. The rail will slide into that post. We'll have to do those bolts last. It'll be handy for it to rest there because these ones have to be guided in as per the last ones. So we're at the last step. If the bolts fall out at any stage, we can still guide them back in. I'm going to use the tool to help me guide that in. Alright, we have a finished home composter frame and it is ready to go. The next step is to make sure that your home composter is level. That's really important for aesthetic and practical reasons. To do that, we can either be digging down underneath some of the posts or raising one of them up. I can see here that that is not exactly level. Our options are to dig down a little under one post or raise up the other one. Ideally, we wouldn't raise any of the posts much more than a few centimeters. Make sure it's a nice sturdy footing so that the composter is not going to move around over time or settle out of level. So if I was digging down to get my level, a spade or trowel would be useful. Shave away any amount that's necessary to make sure that the two posts are level with each other. Look at that, perfect. Leveling is a critical step, especially if you have more than one home compost box in your system. So we've got here the pest proofing hangers, and that should rest in the rail. They get slotted into the channels. Next up, we're going to put in some chunky carbon wood mulch. It needs to go in to sit underneath our pest proofing, just underneath the level of the hangers. This carbon layer helps to filter any liquids that are coming through the compost. It also takes some of the weight of the compost so that all of the pressure isn't on our pest proofing mesh. Next up, we have our galvanized mesh pest proofing. That's going to rest directly on top of the hangers that we've just installed. Should slide tightly just into place and be resting on top of the chunky wood mulch that we've put on and on top of the hangers. We're ready to put the wooden slats onto the home composter. We can put the wooden slats in just by sliding into the cavities in each post. There should be 6 wooden slats per side. Righto, that's all of the slats, all of the walls in to one standard home composter. Next we have the lid caps. The lid cap rests on top of the posts, forming a nice level space for the lid to go on. That's our home composter ready to go. Now we're going to have a look at connecting 2 home composters to each other. If we're putting these 2 home composters next to each other, we need to make sure that they're level with each other. So again, we can either clear out the base so that it's level, or we can chock it up if it needs to be raised to be level with the second box. I have 2 joining rails here. The idea is that they slide into this H space and they hold the 2 boxes tightly to each other. So if you buy 2 home boxes or more, you'll get these H pieces and a little jam to make sure that nothing is coming up in between the 2 boxes, filling in the space between them so that nothing can get through. Just have a little jam tucked in there. So there we go. Remember that if you wanted to, you could connect the home composters to each other this way or that way or this way. That's the beauty of them. They're modular, so you can connect as many as you want together. We can connect them here or here, any direction that you want. All the slats are in, caps are on, we're ready to build our compost. To make sure you create beautiful compost, make sure you check out our next video on the art of composting.